Whether Kim is having a midlife crisis or not right now, I don't know. She's she's entering into that phase.
Hey everyone, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I wanted to talk about Welcome to Plathville because it is back for season 4. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of felt like maybe season 3 was a natural ending to the series with so many of the kids just growing up, moving out. I just thought that maybe that was a natural conclusion, but they are back from season 4. It is compelling, I'm not gonna lie, and I have a lot of thoughts. Okay, so a quick recap if you haven't seen the show before. If you haven't, I would highly recommend. It's a entertaining, compelling watch. You will have a lot of feelings about Kim and Barry, a lot of rage if you are myself. So just with that, if you haven't seen the show, just know that it will elicit a lot of emotions. So Welcome to Plathville is a show on TLC. We know TLC likes to show these huge, massive families. They are a quiverful family, which just means that they like to leave the amount of children that they are going to have up to God. This show is about the Plath family. They live in Cairo, Georgia, which is pretty secluded from what we've seen on the show. It's a small town. That's what I gather. I've never been there, but from what we see on the show, it's more of that small town farm, secluded life. So Kim and Barry are the parents, and they're quite something. They've chosen to raise their children secluded from the world, homeschooled, limited technology, no sugar, no soda. That is the way they've chosen to raise their kids. The last 3 seasons, well, the only 3 seasons, but the last 3 seasons of the show, we've seen a lot of conflict between especially Kim and Barry, but this video is about Kim. So we've seen a lot of conflict between Kim and the kids for really growing up, starting to questioning how they were parented. And if Kim doesn't agree with them, or if you kind of grind Kim's gears, you're on the outs with her. She makes no bones about that. And we're going to talk about that throughout the video. And I guess you can already tell, but just a little bit of a spoiler alert, I'm not the biggest fan of Kim and Barry, but again, this video is about Kim, and I'm sure you'll be able to gather that. Before I get into really my criticisms of Kim, I will say one nice thing. These siblings are thick as thieves. They are tight as hell. They are so close, and that is really very lovely to see. We see in episode 1 of season 4, Micah flies in to be there for Mariah, who is going through a hard time. She hasn't spoken very much about her breakup with Max. Ethan and Olivia can tell that she can use some support. So Ethan flies in from Los Angeles. It means the world to Mariah, and that was just very touching to see. With that being said, I interpret this more of a survival tactic. All these kids are so close because they were all each other had growing up. So I give this more to them as a survival technique and not so much how Kim and Barry raised them. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of Reddit. I have an Instagram account where I talk about all the shows that we watch. I've seen on Twitter a lot of the chatter about episode 1, and a lot of people are commending Kim, really glad to see that Kim seems to be coming around to a more secular, if you will, viewpoint, and that maybe she is having an awakening. And I'm just not gonna lie, I just don't share those sentiments. I'm kind of mentally preparing myself to be dragged for this video. I mean, please voice your opinions. Be kind, but voice your opinions. So I'm mentally preparing myself. But with that being said, personally, just based off of what we know about Kim, what we've seen on the show, what we know about her history, I've done a video on kind of a deeper dive into the Plath family. So has Fundy Fridays. I'll actually link both those videos if you want to get more of a history, maybe stuff you didn't see on the show. But with that being said, I think Kim is diabolical. And this last episode did not change my views. I will say that I'm not above having my viewpoint change on her. I don't think anybody is excluded from the opportunity to grow and evolve, but I just don't see that happening here with Kim. So yeah, that's the viewpoint that I'm coming from. I'm gonna admit, completely biased. This is not gonna be an unbiased video. So season 4 opens up with a, dare I say, resentful Kim lamenting the fact that she's spent the last 20 years of her life raising kids and not listening to the Beastie Boys.
Raising 10 children over the course of 20 some years, I feel like in many ways I kind of lost myself in that process. Now I'm wearing different clothes, things that show a little more leg because I feel like I can now. When I was young, really young, I used to like to listen to the Beastie Boys and Run DMC, and, you know, kind of whenever those came out. I guess I was probably 13. All I know is I've been a mom and I've been a wife, and now it's time to be me.
Then cut to the end of the episode where she wonders if Barry is just cramping her style.
A few months ago, I told Barry how much this dance studio means to me and how much I really need this right now for me. I'm rethinking everything. I've been journaling and I have something I want to read. And this is mostly dealing with me and Barry and my relationship and just everything. I'm hurting so much I can hardly stand it. I feel sick to my stomach, unsettled, and my heart aches for something more. I long for excitement, passion, connection, true intimacy. I'm feeling so lonely right now, isolated, disconnected. Even as I write this, I want to cry, but the tears won't come.
So as you can probably deduce from my tone, I'm not exactly buying what Kim is selling in this episode. And these are just some of the grievances that I have with Kim. First and foremost, her kids don't have birth certificates. I think Ethan and Hosanna, her two oldest, Hosanna does not appear on the show. I've read that they have birth certificates, but none of the other kids had legal documentation of their birth until they appeared on TLC, and TLC required that for their, legal paperwork. Also, the kids don't have GEDs. Mariah actually sat down with Kim. I believe it was either in season 2 or season 3. I'll have to go back and watch. But she actually sat down with Kim and Barry at one point, and she talked about how she felt like she was denied an education, that she was not prepared for the, quote, real world, and that she really feels like her parents put her at a disadvantage. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not familiar with homeschooling at all. I'm certainly not familiar with homeschooling in Georgia. So if someone is familiar with the process, let me know. But I'm just curious as to what kind of oversight there is to actually make sure that the parents are educating their kids. So if you know, let me know down in the comments. Also, they essentially kicked Mariah out of the house at 17. Season 2 started out, we see Ethan and Mariah have moved out. They've gotten a place to themselves. And essentially, Kim sits there and says that she is happy that Mariah has left because Mariah is a bad influence on everyone else. So she was essentially invited to no longer live with them. The other big problem that I've had with Kim is just the treatment of Olivia. Olivia is Ethan's wife, so she married into this family, and Ethan and Olivia both, but especially Olivia, has been treated horribly by Kim and Barry, but especially Kim. Olivia grew up similarly to Ethan, that she grew up in a very conservative, fundamental household, but she describes her upbringing as less restricted than the way the Plaths have raised their kids. We see over the course of seasons 1, 2, and 3, we see Olivia really questioning and voicing her criticisms of the way that both of them were brought up. She introduces Ethan to things like sugar and soda and alcohol. This eventually led Kim to accusing Olivia of being filled with evil spirits. And subsequently, she refused to let Ethan and Olivia around his younger siblings unsupervised. So when I tell you that I find it so awesome that these kids are so close, it's in spite of Kim and Barry, not because of them. We see this shift in Kim's convictions start to happen in season 3. And for all of season 3, I've really called out what I view to be total hypocrisy on Kim's part. I feel like what she employed were just mostly tactics to lure Micah and Mariah back in so that they would not side with Ethan and Olivia, and eventually Kim would be outnumbered. In season 3, Mariah is really pursuing her music career, and we see that Kim is all of a sudden, she's cool with secular music. She wants to go to this bar to see Mariah have her first gig. And this is such an about face to how the kids were raised. I mean, Mariah is fresh off of getting kicked out for holding all of these ideals, and then all of a sudden Kim's cool with this. This is very confusing for Micah and Mariah, but especially Mariah, because Mariah has always yearned to be accepted by her parents, and essentially she was put out on her ass, and now she's being brought in, and I think she can smell the bullshit in the air. Also, while she's trying to lure Micah and Mariah back in, this does not fix any kind of the relationship with Olivia and Ethan. They actually move right next door to Ethan and Olivia, seemingly to still remind them that, yeah, you might move out, you might not talk to us, but we are always there. And I'm not exaggerating how bad things were between Ethan and Olivia and Kim and Barry. Ethan almost came to blows with Barry, and the thought of seeing Kim was enough to send Olivia into a literal panic. Olivia and Ethan actually almost got divorced last season, and honestly, I was viewing this as I just could not see how they possibly could work through things, but it really does seem that they are trying, they are putting in the work, they're doing the therapy, they're doing the things, and you know what? I love to see it. I would have completely understood their relationship not being able to withstand the Kim of it all. And I wouldn't have blamed either one of them. It doesn't seem from what we've seen on the show that Ethan had quite a big of a problem with how he was raised as Olivia had with how she was raised. Ethan likes the more simple, slow pace of life, and he never really had that same problem with his parents. The problem that he has is with the treatment of his wife, and that's where we see the conflict there. So I get, Olivia, she doesn't want to live in a small town. She doesn't want to live around Ethan's parents. I really was like, these two just seem to want completely different things out of life, and I was like, I don't know if they're gonna make it, but they're working hard, and they're 23 years old. They're so young. I think Olivia has a pretty good head on her shoulders. They seem to both really want the marriage to work, so I'm all for that. So me watching Kim in season 4, episode 1, I'm just like,
are you fucking kidding me?
Kim bought a whole ass dance studio. Ma'am, your kids do not have GEDs. Maybe you should invest that money, or you could invest that money into tutors to help your kids bridge that gap in their education. I don't know. Wild thought. And denying your children proper legal documentation like a birth certificate and an education is just, it's not just laziness. This is intentional. You are crippling your kids of being able to integrate into mainstream society and live independently of you if they literally don't have the resources to do so. I guess we'll see what happens as the season progresses, but what I witnessed so far from Kim is lamenting Kim's circumstances and wanting different things for Kim's life. Where is the longing to fix the things you've done wrong for your children? But like I said at the beginning of this video, I don't think anybody is excluded from the ability to grow and learn and change. I mean, isn't that the point? So I hope this is genuine. I hope this is for real, but you know, I'm viewing this with a very, very skeptical eye. And I hope Kim takes this new awakening and actually focuses it on her children, because right now it's focused on the wrong thing. This is a total self-centered midlife crisis going on. Anyways, you guys, let me know what you think down in the comments. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Reality Squad, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Much love.